Hey, what's up everyone? Especially for those who are watching this video on YouTube. This is your boy Jay, and I am back with another video for you guys today. And today I just want to make another honest talk video about gaming and its effects on our culture. And I've been thinking about this topic, for quite a bit too, just after Monday's live stream today. Monday's live stream recently this week, and I never got a chance to get my point across about the gaming industry, how, it just really, explain some stuff on Monday's live stream, explain with you guys too. And it was a good live stream overall too. I just never got a chance to just explain about the gaming industry. And I was interrupted, when I was talking too. So I'll continue to work on that too, but I just want to address something real quick too with this honest talk video about gaming and its effects on our culture. And especially for those who really love gaming too, and knows all about it, as well, just the history of it, and just like the gaming culture, how most systems came out during the 80s, during the 90s, and even like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and till now too, especially the classics like the PS3, and the excuse me, and the recent systems, the Nintendo Switch. And it's just like I just want to address something with you guys too, about this video. And sorry for gargling my throat too. I gotta work on that shit. But it's just like I want to address something about gaming and how's it's affect our culture. And it's just really powerful. I just want to address this too. And it's just like really gaming has this kind of misconception and really just crazy reputation for being kind of violent, kind of off the wall too when it comes over the years, especially during like the first Mortal Kombat game that came out back in the early mid 90s too. Even just remember that playing that game as well. I just like martial arts games, and even just share my own story too about it, and just how it just really affected our culture. Even just with the how graphic that game was, it created the rating system, for certain games for certain ages should play, from everyone from kids to adults to teenagers, from 13 years old to 18 years old, and then to mature audiences only for 21 people for ages 21 and over too. And it's just like how it's evolved over the years too, how it's affected our culture, with the gaming industry is just like amazing, but at the same time it's like with the gaming industry, it's getting better. It's just like going at a slow pace, because before it was pretty wild, especially like certain games that came out like Mortal Kombat and Grand Theft Auto. That's another one too that's still kind of controversial as well, that game series. And over the years, being an avid gamer since I was the age of 6, I believe, and just all my in the early 30s, and even right now too, I'm wearing a Mishima Saibatsu kind of shirt too, representing Tekken. And it's just like, it's just like, how it's evolved over the years too, how it's matured, has grown. And just like, it's really important for people, especially for those who are older, like older generation too, to understand, that, the things that are in the video game, especially like with the shooters, like the Call of Duties, like the Grand Theft Autos, like, the Fortnites, And Mortal Kombat in the fighting games like Mortal Kombat's and Street Fighters and Tekken's and so on and so forth. It's just like we gotta really be mindful to know that the things between reality and fantasy. We can't just like act out the things that we see in video games to just in these streets too, in our communities, and just being really mindful of that, but also just be real and upfront with it. It's just like it's just when it comes to like the world's problems, and it's just like people accuse of doing all the crazy things that people do in our society and blaming it on gaming. That's not really the case, and it's just like there's a lot of hurt, a lot of people who are hurting inside, and they're projecting that to other people and using tools that hurt other people, kind of like with guns, swords, and all that too. There's like a whole lot of factors and come about with it, but just to really solely break it down to one thing with gaming, it's just not right. Just because gaming has a beautiful way of just bringing people together and help people communicate, and also just establishing relationships, like back in like in the arcade days, and still is happening now here and there. It's just like you go to your favorite spot in the arcades, you get your coins, you buy them, you go to your favorite games, whether it be a fighting game like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or Tekken 5, or even just Street Fighter Third Strike. And just like you grab your homies, you have your stuff too. You just really have a good time. Have play a couple of sets, and just really, establishing those relationships, and even just like, with other people, whether it be a man or a woman. I'm a total believer of people just, whether you're a man or a woman, if you love games and you love to connect with people and just really talking about that topic, how you can really just even creating your own games in the future too, and just like creating a story, the backgrounds of it, the pictures, the story, right, the scripts. It's really beautiful, and especially for those who love the old school arcades kind of communities, and just like establishing those relationships. And I'm from that kind of era too, and I just want to represent that to the fullest, because with gaming, it's just I'll just share my own experience too, and you guys can totally disagree. It's just like it helped me really establish myself as a person too, learning how I can really just use my creativity to really just create, really stay healthy, even just learning about money and how to make the right decisions. Even when, like, I'll say this, when I play Grand Theft Auto 5, and I don't condone what the crazy stuff that they do in the games. It's just like pure entertainment. It's kind of like you watching like something on Mad TV, or something like you see in in a crazy cartoon. But it's just like it would like, even like for those who play Grand Theft Auto 5, there's like these background stories, and it's kind of relatable. Like with Franklin, he just wants to make a better life for himself from the past, and Trevor, he's just a really upfront and honest guy for being a psychopath. He's very caring and nurturing to his mom. And with Michael, he's very caring to his family. He wants to live a better life for his family too, but he has to do all kind of crazy things in the past to put a roof on their heads too. And it's just like some of those stories are relatable to some people too. Even though I never lived that kind of life, and I never will. It's just like if you just like play the stories of like like Grand Theft Auto 5, and this for example too, it's like somewhat relatable because it's based on kind of like reality, but in a very fantasy like kind of theme. It's just like you get it, but at the same time, I don't condone with the violence and all that too. I'll never act it out in these streets too, and if I did that, I'll be in jail or in a coffin, just being straight up. But getting back to that too, how to affect our culture, it's really amazing. For the for the bad too, just with like with this rumor, like the crazy stuff about Mortal Kombat and Grand Theft Auto and so on and so forth. And just like, with I think the goods too, with the arcades, how people with Pac-Man back this way before I was born, it's just like how people gather around to play Pac-Man, or even just, people gather around to get their first Nintendo system and get their first Sega Genesis system. The PlayStation was a big hit too. When it came out, I experienced seeing the whole thing. I was a kid. I got my first PlayStation probably, what was it, 96. I believe 95. I was a kid. My first games were like Tekken, Tekken 2. I fell in love with the game series, and, and now I'm a avid fan, if you guys could see, you know, but the Mishima Zaibatsu is based on a fighting game series called Tekken, and it has the world record for the longest storyline in the video game history. So, representing Tekken, Namco, and out of all companies too, like Namco, Capcom, Rockstar Games, you name it, those companies who are doing cool things, not only for the gaming community, but, in general. And it's just like, I just want to share this, about how, gaming has affected our culture is really amazing. And it's still like, the gaming culture too. It's really trying to clean its image, cleaning out those top unhealthy behaviors from people that have done in the past and really just establishing healthy relationships for in the present and even establishing that in the future. Just really respecting other players, whether they are a man or a woman, black or white, straight or gay, skinny, fat, whatever, to just, honoring them as gamers and welcome them in the circles too. It's just, I'm a big advocate for that too. And and just like for those who are new to my channel and watching this for the first time too, who are avid gamers, I mean, just, who love games in general, who just love to just, play your favorite horror games, fighting games, martial arts, storylines, Grand Theft Autos, you name it too, sandbox games and all that. Racing could be with the interactive gaming too, kind of like with the Nintendo had it with like the Wii Fit, where you could do yoga in the with the Nintendo. What was it? Damn, I forgot what system it was. I know it was. I had it too. It was. It was a Nintendo system too. I kind of totally forget, but it had like the Wii Fit, and you could move around with your body and do yoga, doing the down forward facing forward folds to doing the downward facing dog, upward dog to tree pose, you know Malasana poses too. It's really cool, and how gaming has evolved too over the years. It's really wonderful, and even just like with dance games too. Now you could really, with your family and your friends, you could how it's affected our culture. Like with icons like Michael Jackson. There's a game out with him. Michael Jackson Experience, and it came out quite some time ago, around 2012, 2013. You could probably get it on PS3, and even just like you could have it with your friends, have a PlayStation camera, and you just dance your butt off too. It could be an exercise, could be a good thing for your family. Plus, you could even use your audio thing to really sing and dance at the same time, being the experience of Michael Jackson when he was performing in his concerts, when he was alive. So it's really cool. And it's just like, amazing how it's affected our culture. And even till now too, how we see more, games too that are looking like motion pictures now too, especially like certain A-listers like Keanu Reeves and so on and so forth being in certain video games is really amazing. And even just like what's his name from 24? He played Big Boss in the Metal Gear Solid 5 too, and it's just like I forgot the name of the guy who was a series of 24 on Fox. Like I think it was Kiefer Sutherland. I think that was his name. And, he played Big Boss, and Big Boss is a really well known character in the Metal Gear Solid series, too. And that series is really, controversial as well because it brings out the more corruption of political correctness and what's happening in our society and politics around the globe, too. Just not only with our nation, but also other nations around the globe, too, which I'm not going to discuss at this time. But it's just like you just really guys researching that for yourself and really just, how gaming has an effect on our culture too. It's really mind-boggling, even just, as a gamer too, just seeing it evolve from, from like from Pong even till like, this first Nintendo's system that my cousin had too, ironically, then, Sega Genesis, Sega, and then with the PlayStation, and then it's just evolved with the Xbox, and it's just how it's amazing how it's grown so much, and it's going to continue to evolve too. And just like bringing it back to a very spiritual aspect too about with technology and nature, it's always good to really find that middle ground in our lives too. To really just when to put the controller down, to really go outside in nature, to just experience nature with your whole body, with the sun, with the wind, the birds flying, chirping in your ear, with the trees, embracing the fruits, earthing your feet to the ground, to the beach, and all that good stuff too. I'm a total believer of, balance, with technology and, nature, how it can really just help us live fulfilling lives and making our lives more, not just, challenging, but also, very creative. I'm just a firm believer if you use technology to help, support nature, not just destroy it too. And now, and, vice versa too. So I'm kind of in that middle ground. I love nature and I love technology, just finding that middle ground, not being too extreme with one or the other too, because, all extremes are, not really healthy too. And it's just really, really with me being mindful of that as well. It's just really awesome too. And just like again too about, I'm just going to speak a little bit about, the violence in video games. It's just always good to really know what's the difference between reality and fantasy and not act on the actions of, the video games that we play on a system, whether we I say show you again, we have the Nintendo Switch, or if we just, playing it on our PS3s too. I just really want to address that as well. Because if we do, especially for the younger generations who are watching this, we act on the things that we see in video games and portray it, in our reality, especially if we're going through challenges as well. We're going to, do some harm to other people. And it's going to not only have a heavy toll in our hearts too, but you're going to have to be accountable of your actions with that as well. And you just got to, pay with that daily, got to be accountable so that if I do something like that too as a leader and as a healer too, I'll really feel guilty of that. And I will be, accountable of that as well as a man. Just really, front with it. And so, yeah, I just wanted to really address that a little bit too. I just wanted to get that point across in my live stream. I never got a chance because, I was a little interrupted, but, the live stream went smooth overall too. And nothing against anyone too who interrupted me. I just didn't get my point across. But in this video, I just want to address it once and for all too in this video. And also, I'm going to share some resources below too that I researched about, the gaming culture that you guys might find interesting. I'll post the 3 links. I should actually take that back. I'll post the 2 links, below too. Actually, yeah, 3 links below too. So if you guys could check it out for yourselves at any time, share with your kids, share it with your family and friends. If you guys love to explore any communities and gaming communities that you guys are interested in, even just learning how the gaming culture is really evolving, cleaning its image up too, and so on and so forth. And I'll just for those who are interested in gaming design, as well, I'm just going to share some resources in the description of this video too, so you guys can really check it out. And when you guys are rewatching this in the future for years to come, you'll always have a resource there too to share with your friends, your family, etc. Especially for those who are parents and who are older generation who are new parents, and all that too. And so that being said, that concludes with my video too. Much love to all you guys who are watching this, and may we continue to practice self-care that could benefit us, our loved ones, and our environment. And again, I'll post the links to the articles that I mentioned below in the description of this video. Now I'm out. Peace and namaste.